In the ocean, as in the rest of nature, many creatures are out there fighting for their survival. Some to hunt for other animals for food, and some to survive against said hunters.
In today's matchup, we're pitting predator against prey, with two of the most well-known sea creatures, the shark and the dolphin. But not just any shark and dolphin, this is an animal face-off after all.
No, we're pitting the most famous and fearsome shark on film, Jaws, against...
Ecco the Dolphin, Sega's ocean-traveling hero of the sea.
For Jaws, we're compositing all the official Jaws films and some video games. We know it's usually a different shark, but some of them have a concept of revenge, so maybe it's reincarnation? Okay, but really, they're all sharks in movies called Jaws. It gives them more anyways.
Anyhow, now that we've introduced our sea creatures, I'm Max and he's Ducko, and we're going to analyze these two sea dwellers and determine who can be the king of the sea.
Amity Beach was once a nice place to relax and have fun, until one day, this was ruined by a killer shark coming along and eating some people.
This led to a team consisting of Chief Brody, Matt Hooper, and Quint to go after the shark, eventually managing to defeat Bruce, or just Jaws as people proceeded to call him, although sadly they lost Quint on their mission.
However, Jaws kept coming back, I think. He went after Brody again, then he was in SeaWorld in 3D, then he traveled halfway across the world to get revenge on Brody's family.
How does a shark even have a concept of revenge? Are these sharks all from the same family? Maybe it's the same shark. Who knows to be sure? It's a Spielberg production, so I wouldn't put it past him. What with Aliens being an Indiana Jones?
With all these increasingly strange movies, and even a few video games under his non-existent belt, this shark has racked up an impressive physical stat sheet.
Generally, Jaws can chew up humans and, in some cases, swallow them whole, leaving only a leg behind. But when he's not in the mood for human meat, he can eat other sea creatures like orca whales, Aduncleosteus, and mosasaurs. Most of these creatures tend to be even larger than Jaws himself, and yet he still manages.
Ducklioceus are said to have had a bite force of 1,200 psi, and that's not all for Jaws' strength and endurance. He's pushed around blue whales, torn apart metal in the forms of both inanimate and animate obstacles, those being robots and mechs, and he even took on bigger Jaws, with the help of humans, but still.
Why aren't we using bigger Jaws instead?
Well, he lost.
I suppose so. Anyways, Jaws is probably as strong as he is durable, usually tanking attacks from the creatures he kills, including a rather large squid creature. Aside from that, he's endured boats exploding as well, so there we go. And surprisingly enough, this rather large and strong shark is pretty fast.
He can outswim bullets, including Gatling guns, explosions, and torpedoes, which were found to travel around 230 miles per hour, or 370 kilometers. He even swam across the country just for the sake of revenge.
Is this really an impressive speed feat, or a really dumb script at work? You decide!
Jaws frequently utilizes stealth, usually sneaking up on his foes, which is difficult when you're a giant shark and your theme music keeps loudly playing every time you approach.
Quiet you. He's experienced against not just humans, but a number of sea life, and even displayed great strategy when he fought a giant squid and wound up tying its limbs together in order to get a good shot in.
He can even use key cards to unlock certain places. How? I do not know. Where does he keep them? But anyways, again, he also has a concept of revenge. So, since he fought Ecco before on my DeviantArt, you could say that this time is personal.
He's tenacious. Even after being harmed, he still tries to get his victims in between his jaws.
Jaws' eating prowess actually helps him in another way, given that it can actually heal him. He can also do physical moves, like a tail whip, a headbutt, a spinning corkscrew attack, and pretty much a body slam. So Jaws is a wrestler.
He's also for some reason got this predator vision, which allows him to stalk his prey and avoid sneak attacks. However, even when he does avoid sneak attacks, he still finds himself with quite a few weaknesses.
In terms of mentality, Jaws has been outsmarted by humans in pretty much every movie. There are also physical weaknesses that these people can exploit, given that he lacks long-range attacks and can be destroyed from the inside.
Jaws also acts primarily on instinct and gets distracted easily. Even in his great revenge scheme from Jaws 4, he wound up getting distracted and eating some people. Also, admittedly, Jaws doesn't look all that realistic.
Shark still looks fake.
He's also caused people to overly discriminate against real-life sharks, even just killing them out of nowhere when they were doing nothing. You humans are very specious. But still, Jaws has a legacy in putting Spielberg on the map, and being one of the most iconic horror monsters in fiction.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
One fine day, Ecco and his friends were just having a blast, splashing around in the water, until one of Ecco's friends told him to see how high he could jump. When Ecco did, suddenly all of the other marine life got sucked out of the ocean via some waterspout tornado. Well, that certainly took a turn.
Ecco was then told by an orca to seek out Big Blue, a whale, not the F-Zero track, who tells him that storms like these have been occurring every 500 years. And then he tells him to seek out Asterite, the oldest creature on Earth, who looks like a bunch of marbles in a DNA strand. These marbles lost one of their marbles, and it's up to Ecco to find a time machine to help retrieve them.
What the hell happened? Everything was all fine in Finding Nemo, and now all of a sudden there's this ancient abstract thing and time travel. Are we sure Spielberg didn't direct this one too?
Then Ecco goes to Atlantis, finds out about the aliens known as the Vortex, who sucked up the creatures to have the world's largest red lobster, presumably.
He next goes to dinosaur times, meets Asterite again, steals one of his marbles, and gives it to the present time Asterite? But then the past one wouldn't have it! Ay ay ay.
You humans just won't get time travel logic. Anyways, Ecco then travels back to the Vortex tornado, gets sucked up, but then he manages to destroy the alien's queen. Then in the sequel, the aliens destroy the asteroid, strip Ecco of his powers, and then he has to go on another adventure involving time travel.
Then he meets one of his descendants from the future, where dolphins have an inflatable sack in their bodies that let them fly around and have telekinetic powers.
Of course. Naturally. Why wouldn't they? Then there's a giant war between dolphins and aliens. Then Ecco has to go to the Vortex's new machine, destroy the Vortex Queen again, then the asteroid tells him to destroy the Atlantean time machine, hopefully to stop this from ever happening again, but Ecco doesn't. After this, there's a game in an alternate universe. No more plot summary, thank God. Since we're compositing Jaws as well, we may as well include abilities from it.
Okay, good. I don't think my mind can handle any more Ecco plot. Let's just get into physicality. No transition. My brain hurts.
With Ecco's asteroid-given sonar singing, Ecco can break through stone and defeat alien armies. But without that, he's taken on numerous forms of sea life, including sharks and squids, and has even broken the Vortex Queen's jaw by ramming into it. You'd have expected Jaws to be that brutal.
He's able to endure attacks from these sea creatures too, although he always does make that horrendous screaming noise. So perhaps it hurts a lot each time. Regardless, he survived explosions while escaping the Vortex base, survived the pressures of the deepest recesses of the ocean, and has been caught in several storms.
He also pretty regularly swims around the world relatively quickly, and he has the endurance to keep doing it, and in fact, can dodge electricity and energy blasts from Vortex weaponry.
Ecco is a skilled little scamp, isn't he? He's always going on mind-boggling adventures, going on quests for people, and outsmarting larger sea life, including even psychic aliens.
He also can use time travel, which has led to numerous confusing plot holes and convolutions in his story, and yet he still manages to get through it without wanting to ram his head into the nearest hard rock repeatedly.
Ecco is usually well-meaning enough, although sometimes he can be a bit of a blowhole. Like, why didn't he just destroy the time machine and get this shit over with? He just wanted to keep going on adventures because he was bored.
The Ingrate won't do what Asteroid wants him to, even though most of his powers come from the being. These include his most utilized power, the sonar singing, which allows communication with other sea life, but can also be used as long-range attacks, disorienting sharks, freezing sea life, and breaking through stone.
He can perform the charge attack, which explains itself really, the 180-degree spin attack, the super roll, and he can swim backwards. How useful. Don't forget, he can also bounce on his own tail while on land.
And it looks ridiculous. Nevertheless, he can also upgrade his sonar to pulsar, allowing him to fire in multiple directions, and even use sonar singing to upgrade other attributes, such as his speed, power, and swimming with power of vigor, and gaining invisibility with the power of stealth. He can also transform into other creatures with the metasphere.
So he's like Chuck Norris then. He can become a seagull, a jellyfish, a school of fish, a vortex drone, and even a shark just like Jaws. Lastly, he has echolocation, which lets Ecco map out the area.
Unfortunately for Ecco, he does have some weaknesses beyond his writing. He often needs outside assistance, even needing to be saved by other animals, and he can be selfish and quick to not think things through.
Also, somewhat importantly for this episode, his sonar singing actually doesn't work as well on great white sharks, like our friend Jaws here, which could be troublesome.
Still, as much as we've ragged on him, Ecco's still the hero of the sea, saving the ocean and most likely our entire world several times over.
So it looks like it's feeding time. Can Jaws secure himself a snack?
Or will Ecco fucking murder Jaws back?
Well, that isn't really related to Ecco at all, is it? Oh no! Even though it was personal this time, Jaws couldn't get his revenge. How could this happen?
It turns out both were basically physically even, pretty much being building level in terms of strength and durability. But Jaws only gains this through his video games, and Ecco is still faster and has more range and versatility.
Jaws was smarter than you folks may give him credit for, but Ecco was ultimately the smarter guy here, since while both outsmart sea life, Ecco outsmarts psychic aliens. Plus, Ecco has natural abilities that can counter Jaws' own abilities, like his predator vision being matched by echolocation. But one thing Ecco definitely has that Jaws doesn't is the ability to transform into other animals.
Jaws was more willing to kill and be brutal, but it's not like Ecco hasn't been like that when the safety of his friends was on the line, especially since, like I said before, he straight up broke the Vortex Queen's jaw. Plus, dolphins beat sharks in real life. Not that reality has much bearing on this fight, but it's also something we can mention.
In the end, while this was actually pretty close, Ecco manages to edge out in everything that counts, allowing him to come out as the winner.
Making this multiverse match's winner Ecco the Dolphin.